Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to our coffee times to discuss movies and horror.
It's coffee time.
So today I'm here to talk to you about the movie Imaginary. And I'm not gonna lie, I went to watch this movie with low expectations. I think I went into it still too positive about it. I was kind of hoping it was gonna be better than the previous Blumhouse movies that were released in 2024, but here we are. I kind of wish this was alcohol, not gonna lie. I was not even sure if I wanted to talk about this movie because I don't want my videos to turn into rant videos, but I also feel like it is my duty to report back. I do sacrifice for all of you guys and I go watch all the new releases so that I can talk to you about them, or the most popular ones, to let you guys know if it's worth your time or not. So here we go. Imaginary is an American supernatural horror film directed and co-written by Jeff Waldo. I already knew the director. I had watched previously Truth or Dare as well as Fantasy Island, and they were both movies that were a big flop for me. I did not like them at all, so I was kind of like giving this guy a third chance at this point. And you know, I was going into it, like I said, with an open mind, and I did like the poster. I did like the teddy bear kind of idea. I was hoping for a kind of like new fun take on Child's Play or Megan. It was a no on that as well. I feel like Blumhouse at the moment is kind of in the middle of a creative downfall. I feel like after Night Swim, Fright Nights at Freddy's, and even the last Exorcist movie that were not great movies, let's put it that way, I feel like they are not finding back their foot. Something is not going on well, and I miss the days where, you know, they were giving chance to directors that had small projects, good ideas, like Jordan Peele, Mike Flanagan, Christopher Landon, Patrick Brice, people that had sometimes fun movies, you know, like Freaky or Happy Death Day. Like, it doesn't have to be all serious horror, like I get that, but quality is also good. Quality over quantity, Blumhouse. That's all I'm saying. When Jessica moves back into her childhood home with her family, her youngest stepdaughter, Alice, finds a stuffed bear named Chauncey. As Alice's behavior becomes more and more concerning, Jessica intervenes only to realize that Chauncey is much more than the stuffed toy bear she believed him to be. The main theme of the movie is, you know, the power of imagination. And we have one of our main characters, Jessica, that uses her huge imagination to create stories for children. So she is an author of children's books, and she also makes all the illustrations as well, and she pours all her imagination into these books. I really did enjoy to see her as an artist. I really enjoyed her drawings, and I really thought the books were cute. And you know, I kind of hope those books existed because they probably are creepy cute books for kids. So Jessica had not been in her childhood home for many years, and it's because, you know, after her mom passed away due to cancer, and then her dad also had kind of like a health decline, so the house was empty for some years, and she decided to move back there with her new husband and her two stepdaughters. We also have Alice, who is the younger stepdaughter, and she also has a really big imagination, and in the house she finds Chauncey, which is a teddy bear, and she believes that the teddy bear is talking to her, asking her to do certain things. And we have this typical, you know, child discovers something in the house and they tell the kid to do something. So that's like a creepy kid vibe that I tend to enjoy in horror movies. And the beginning of the movie is not as bad as what came afterwards, because at the beginning I was still interested in this teddy bear, and you know, I was curious to see where the movie was gonna take us with the teddy bear, because I do love plushies and dolls in horror movies. It's something that I love to see. I think it's really cute, and I thought the bear was really cute. But all the characters, all the family members were such cliche characters. They felt really like disconnected from each other. There was zero chemistry, so it was really hard for me to believe that they were a family. There's also a neighbor that served absolutely no purpose. I don't even know why he was here. And there was an older lady that is also a nosy neighbor character that just no. She was not great, and it was also a character that was just added because it was needed to explain things in the movie, which is also a big no-no. The performances were over the top, the script was really bad, like the dialogues that they had, the lines, cringe, not good. It almost felt like the script was written by artificial intelligence at this point, and that was really disappointing for me. It's not on the actors, they were just not giving the best script, and it just didn't work. The biggest issue, I think, with Imaginary is that it is a bunch of nonsense. There is too many things that they were trying to do here, and then they ended up doing absolutely nothing with it. There were also some scenes that were in there for absolutely no purpose. Things that happened that were supposed to be traumatic for the characters that were abandoned 1 second later. Something traumatic happens to the family, and then the father decides that he's gonna go on tour with his band, takes his guitar, and disappears for the rest of the movie. And you're like, cool. I'm struggling here, you guys. And as I said, there's a lot of explaining in this movie, which I did not appreciate. I don't like to be considered dumb. As I've mentioned, there's this older neighbor called Gloria, and she is basically there to explain a lot of things at a certain point in the movie. You know those characters that just come in because they have to explain things to the audience? That was Gloria, and I was not here for it. And there's so many explanations that were absolutely no needed. I am a huge fan of not explaining but showing. Of course, sometimes maybe you have to say a sentence here and there to guide the audience to certain things. Of course, I'm not complaining about that, but this was just like spoon-fed information all the time to the point where it got annoying. It almost feels like they just wrote the script in one day and they were like, it's good to go. Like, they didn't put any thought into how everything was going to connect. There was no thought in continuity or anything really. Like, it just felt like a patchwork of different things that combined didn't make any sense at all. And I'm not gonna give anything away, but when the third act comes around, I think the movie believes it's gonna shock the viewer with all of these reveals and twists to the story, which you have seen coming 3 miles ago. You saw it coming. So it's not shocking or anything, and they are selling you this movie that it's supposed to be, wow, this third act is crazy, and look at all of these reveals, and I was just sitting there like, don't know how much I can take. Because also the script just got more and more ridiculous as we were going forward with the film. It's a movie that at the beginning you feel like it's trying to be serious, then it turns into comedy, and you realize it's just pure nonsense. Probably also one of the biggest disappointments from the movie is that it's not scary at all. It's not really creepy. I feel like at the beginning, for the first act, there were a couple of creepy moments that I thought were nice, where, you know, those typical shots where the focus is on the main actor and the background is a little bit out of focus, but you can see things moving or things that might be in the back. Like, I love to see those shots and try to see if things move, if there's something behind our main character. I love to spot things in the background in horror movies, maybe some Easter eggs or things that you won't see on the first view, but I'm always looking for them, even if it's the first time I watch a movie. And it did have those elements that I like and I think make a movie creepy, but then that's kind of the only redeemable thing I could say about the horror. And I think it's a similar problem that I've had with all of his movies beforehand, that he doesn't really know what the goal is with his movies, and he tries to make something that is supposed to be horror but it has a lot of comic relief, and then it just ends up being a mess. But despite those small moments that work, they're just simply not enough to make up for the predictable and cheap jump scares where someone sneaks up behind one of the characters followed by a loud sound effect. Most of the film's scares come from tropes you've seen in countless other crappy PG-13 horror movies. Don't get me wrong, it had a nice couple of shots, and I did enjoy the third act when you see certain creatures and stuff that come out in the third act. I liked the design. I thought it was cool. And there's some practical effects that I thought were cool, but like nothing could save the movie at this point. At the end of the day, I do think this movie had potential, but it ended up being a mess fest. So I could only give this movie a 1.5 out of 5. I could not give it more. I just couldn't. I think there are too many nonsensical scenes. The plot didn't make sense. The characters were overacted. They were not well developed. They had zero chemistry with each other. It was just a mess. The movie was not really scary. They didn't have good scares or anything that made it really unsettling, at least to me. And there are so many tropes that were just not good integrated. Things that were supposed to be there to scare you, but that didn't make any sense together with the plot of the movie, so it was a flop. Before we leave, I wanna make a new section in these spoiler-free horror movie reviews in which I read to you some viewers' reviews of the film, funny reviews, and they're not going to contain any spoilers, but when I watch a horror movie on the way back home from the cinema, my partner is always the one driving, so I go to Letterboxd, which is where I log all of my movies, and I log the movie that I just watched, and I like to scroll through the comments. And I always wanted to include this as a segment on my review videos to show you what other people think about the movie. And these are the ones that I have picked. This is what happens when your acting skills are imaginary. There were many puns with the movie Imaginary, and I was here for it. Next, what a joke. Blumhouse has completely lost their way. I'd rather watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and that's saying a lot. And I agree. You know, the other day, somebody was telling me, oh, Winnie the Pooh has been nominated as one of the worst horror movies for last year, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, at least it was fun. At least they knew what they were doing, and they were going for it, they were embracing it, and it was what it wanted to be. And I love the character design. And it was fun. Did I say it was fun? At least it was fun. And I was not bored, like in Imaginary. I wish I had imagined this shit. I agree. The next one is one that I can really relate to, and it is spent most of the runtime imagining walking the F out of the theater. Same. And the last one, and another one of my favorite ones, no. Just no. That's it. That's the review. Alright, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this spoiler-free review of Imaginary. Obviously, I don't recommend you to go to the cinema to watch it. If you are interested, be my guest. Or you wait for the movie to be available somewhere on VOD if you want to save your coin. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it anyways. I hope it was not too ranty, but I'm here to be honest. I'm here to let you guys know what I had to suffer through in order to bring you guys a review. Anytime for you guys. No, honestly, I love to see all of the new releases, even though some I know are not going to be great, but I still like to check them out. So, you know, I'm doing this to myself. Anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for all your support, and I hope to see you all, as always, in our next coffee time. Bye!